Hey guys, sorry for the yawn. Um, this will be kind of a quick video. James Rolfe of Cinemassacre.com, otherwise known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, has recently posted a video talking about what he thinks are the best movies in each subgenre of horror. And I believe he did vampire, werewolf, mummy, zombie, and alien. I'm gonna do all those, plus some extra ones. So let's start. First one is vampires. Vampires, they're very iconic. Well, used to be iconic, anyways. Horror icons, fucking Twilight and Vampire Diaries, and basically a lot of shit has ruined vampires in recent years. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do something different than James did. I'm gonna split this up because I noticed that he leans towards a lot of the classic movies, and while I do agree that the classics are more often than not the better movies, I'm gonna list two movies for each subgenre. The best classic and the best modern. And what I mean by modern is anything after the 90s. Okay, no, scratch that. After the 80s, because I think we can all agree that once Scream came out, that really kind of revitalized horror genre and kind of jump started a brand new, kind of generation of horror. So yeah, I'll do the newer ones and the classics. And just anything before the 90s. Okay, so vampire films. Um, so that's kind of a hard one. I'll go classic first. In many ways, I wanted to say the Bela Lugosi Dracula film is the better one, well, the best one of all time. Um, but like James Rolfe points out, the Spanish version is technically the better film. Um, technically, camera shots and some acting are much better than the English version. But Lugosi and Dwight Fryer, who plays Renfield, are just really what makes that movie for me. But honestly, those movies are very flawed and just not the best. They're the Lugosi and the Spanish Dracula is are my favorite what's called vampire films. But I think in terms of the best, I think I have to go with Nosferatu to be honest. The 1920 release. Yeah, there's just something very creepy about that movie. Just the fact that it's a silent film, makes it creepy enough. But the well, Max Schreck's makeup is very creepy. It's nothing like what we see in the Lugosi Dracula movie or in the Hammer films or definitely not the fucking Twilight movies. Um, it's very monster like, and I think that's what really creeped me out a lot about it. So yeah, I'll have to go with Nosferatu for the best vampire movie of all time. Werewolf, werewolf. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I forgot to go with a modern vampire. I think modern vampire would have to be Let Me In. It's a Finnish film. It's a very weird movie, but it's probably one of my more favorite movies to come out in recent years, bar none. Um, Vampire films have been kind of tame recently. Most of the time they're really just romances with fucking coat of vampire paint on them. But I think Let Me In really blended, the romance that a lot of newer vampire films are trying to go for, and a lot of the horror that a lot of the original vampire films go for. So yeah, the best original has to be Nosferatu, and the best new one has to be Let Me In. So up next is werewolf film. Again, I'll go classic first. Again, this is kind of a hard one. I think obviously I'll have to go with the Universal Wolfman movie. Um, You know what? No, I'll take that back. I think I'll have to do. I think I'll have to do The Shining. Um, Mainly because the original marketing campaign is fucking brilliant. If you know anything about it, what they did was they never marketed as as a werewolf film. So when people would see the previews, they never suspected that it was actually a werewolf movie, and they ended up watching the werewolf movie. Uh, Other than that, it's a very terrifying film. I think even now. So yeah, I think best classic would have to be what's called the Howling. Um, and best new one, there hasn't been. No, you know what? No, I take that back. Dog Shoulders, Soldiers, really really great film. I think it. I'm not sure where it's from. I want to say it's a British film, but I don't know to be honest. But that one's very good. It, yeah, that's one of my favorite. I want to say Ginger Snaps, but let's be honest, you don't see the werewolf like during the last last little part of the movie, and it's mainly just a coming of age movie. So yeah, Dog Soldiers has to be my favorite newer werewolf movie. And I feel weird for saying that. I'm sorry. So let's go with Mummy. Um, best classic Mummy movie. Uh, this one's hard too. I think I'll have to go with the first Hammer Mummy film, like uh, James did in his video. For whatever reason, I think those Hammer Mummy films are just terrifying, to be honest. I get kind of scared of watching those, even though. Let's be honest, he's a shitty monster. All it is just a resurrected dude in some fucking bandages that just walks around and strangles people. For whatever reason, these fucking people cannot get away. But yeah, that one's probably my favorite. Best newer one? There's been no fucking Mummy films, so I'll have to go with the Universal remake of the Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Don't get me wrong, that's a very good action movie. Not so much a horror movie, but they just don't make Mummy movies anymore. Sadly, I don't know why. Maybe they realize that they're not that great. That the monster's not that great. So let's go to zombie movie. This is the fucking hardest this hardest one. Ever since George Romero put out Night of the Living Dead back in 1968, there's been fucking countless zombie movies. Um, Best classic one. This is very hard. This is very hard. Um, let's talk about the original Romero trilogy. Um, okay, so Night of the Living Dead, that is very much a classic and still kind of a terrifying movie. I use the word a lot, and a lot of people would watch it, but I know it's not really terrifying. But it's a very realistic movie. These people are trapped in a house, and the only way to survive is to work together and talk and shit. But these people are always always trying to choke each other, kill each other, even though they have these fucking flesh-eating monsters outside waiting for them, trying to get in. That just the whole human side of that movie is very terrifying because that's a very common thing. I don't know how many times I just want to kill someone, even though something else bad is happening. So, but Dawn of the Dead, the sequel, that one just that was everything. I think that good zombie movie had, as a pretty decent storyline and really likable characters, and it's just a shit ton of fun. It's when I need to watch a movie, I usually pick Dawn of the Dead. But then we get to Day of the Dead, which was a financial flop at the time. But in my opinion, that's the best of the original Romero trilogy. Um, the gore in it is fucking fantastic. The storyline is great as well. The characters are pretty well, are pretty good, and just the whole tone of the movie is just very somber and depressing. Whereas Dawn of the Dead, that was kind of depressing too. But this one is always they don't have very much fun in Day of the Dead. And yeah, I think Day of the Dead is my favorite Romero zombie movie. Before I decide on my favorite, favorite classic zombie movie. Well, let's talk about the other ones. Return of the Living Dead. That one, I'm very surprised no one's copied. And when you look past the very comedic elements of Return of the Living Dead, that was also a very depressing movie. Mainly because you can't kill the fucking zombies in that movie. If you watch the movie, they do everything to try to kill this fucking guy. Nothing works until they cremate him. But obviously, you can't cremate fucking five guys in front of you when you need it, and that's very terrifying. I think, and I'm surprised no one's tried to bring that back. Even the shitty sequels just ignored that. Um, but yeah, I think classic zombie movie. I'd say Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is probably just one of the best horror movies, to be honest. Um, newer one. Um, I want to say Wreck, but Wreck 2 kind of ruined that. Since it established that they're not zombies, they're fucking demons. I guess I don't know what the fuck's going on in Wreck 2. Newer zombie movie though. Newer. Let me think. There have been some good ones, and then obviously some stinkers. Um. Oh my god, I'm drawing a fucking blank. I don't know. Oh my god. Fuck it. I'm not gonna decide on a modern zombie movie. I cannot think of one. Oh my god. Yeah. So we'll skip the newer best zombie movie, and if I think of one, I'll state it towards the end. But let's talk about Alien. Well, no. Sorry, I jumped ahead. It's a Frankenstein movie. Um, I think I'll have to go with Bride of Frankenstein. That one's, a lot of people either prefer the Peter Cushing Hammer film ones, and or either that one or the Universal Son of Dracula, not Dracula. Oh my God, Son of Frankenstein movie. Um, but honestly, I prefer Bride of Frankenstein. That one just a very. This one is just a very. I think it's most faithful to the book, and at the same time, it's also a very somber movie. The monster, he's a very misunderstood character. Sure he kills and everything, but in a way he's kind of like Jason Voorhees. He's not all there. He's dumb. I don't want to offend anyone, but yeah, the monster in that movie is very dumb, but he has a human side. He shows compassion and love, and all he wants is to be accepted, and he wants love, which is why he asked Doctor Frankenstein, to make him a lady friend, and and sadly, even she is repulsed by him, and it's just the whole thing. I think a lot of people can relate to. I know I personally relate to it a lot of times. I see a lot of parts of myself in the monster character. So yeah, I think Bride of Frankenstein would be my favorite classic Frankenstein movie. Newer one, I can't choose a newer one. Sadly, they just don't do Frankenstein movies anymore. Um, Fuck it. I'm gonna go on a whim here, and I'm gonna say Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. His short film Frankenweenie. Obviously, the remake hasn't come out yet. The one he's doing right now, but yeah, if you get a chance, watch his original Frankenweenie. I like that one a lot. Uh, yeah, so that'll be my pick. So for the last one, I'll have to go with slasher movie. Originals. Um, Sadly, I cannot count Black Christmas or Texas Chainsaw. Slasher movies, by definition, are movies with a high body count. A lot of cool kills and shit. And even though Texas Chainsaw and Black Christmas are very very creepy, very atmospheric films, they just don't really count as slasher films. They're obviously huge influences on slasher films, but yeah, I think Halloween is obviously the start of that. But I really wanted to go with Friday the 13th Part 6. A lot of people are might say, oh no, fucking Halloween was the best one, or the original, or Nightmare on Elm Street. But I think Friday the 13th Part 6 is probably the most fun one, and it has a lot of influences from a lot of the original Universal films. The director, I can't tell his name is. He's gone on record several times and stating that he wanted to give the movie a very Universal feel, and he pulls it off the best the best he can. But a newer slasher film. Um, I wanted to say The Devil's Rejects. Um, that's kind of a stretch. It's not very it's a very odd film. It's not really a slasher film per se, but yeah, I think that one's my favorite. Ironically, I really hated that movie when I first saw it, but now I'm really going to appreciate it and love it. House of a Thousand Corpses is still a fucking piece of shit, but Devil Rejects, fucking great movie. So yeah, that's the end. I'm sadly running out of time, so maybe I'll do some more subgenres later. So rate, comment, see you later.